You're probably missing one of the biggest global investment shifts happening right now. While the world is obsessing over the US, China, and even the Middle East, smart investors are quietly moving their capital somewhere else. Singapore. Why? Because Singapore isn't just another financial hub. It's becoming the safe haven of Asia, and possibly the world. The ultra-rich know this. Family offices are flocking there. Billionaires like Ray Dalio and Google co-founder Sergey Brin have quietly expanded their wealth presence in Singapore. The question is, what do they know that most people don't? At the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why capital is flowing into Singapore and how you can position yourself to profit from it. So, let's get into the truth behind the money shift. It starts with something many overlook: stability in a turbulent world. In an era defined by geopolitical uncertainty, wars, elections, inflation, and currency debasement, Singapore offers a rare blend of political neutrality, legal certainty, and financial transparency. Unlike Hong Kong, which has come under China's increasing control and spooked international investors, Singapore has managed to remain an independent player with a Western-aligned legal system and extremely business-friendly policies. This stability isn't just about safety, it's about predictability. And in investing, predictability is a luxury. But that's just the beginning. Singapore also holds a key geographical advantage. It sits at the strategic crossroads between the East and West, between India and China, between the old money and the new economy. This has made it the fastest-growing wealth management hub in Asia, with assets under management, AUM, surpassing $4 trillion SGD, roughly $3 trillion USD, as of 2023. That's more than Switzerland had at the height of its banking secrecy era. And here's what's even more impressive. In just 3 years, the number of single-family offices registered in Singapore skyrocketed from fewer than 100 to over 1,500. These aren't your average investors. These are billionaires, hedge funds, and sovereign wealth entities seeking safety and scalability in one package. Why the shift? Because Singapore offers something few countries can: a low-tax environment with zero capital gains tax, strong rule of law, and no exchange controls. It also has one of the world's highest credit ratings and is consistently ranked in the top 3 globally for ease of doing business. If you're seeing the pattern, you're ahead of most. But we're not done. The real secret lies in a quiet economic transformation that is just beginning. Over the past decade, Singapore has been reinventing itself, not just as a financial center, but as a tech, innovation, and green economy powerhouse. It's no longer just a gateway for banking or logistics. It's becoming the Silicon Valley of Southeast Asia, but with stricter discipline and smarter regulation. Global giants like Google, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft have made Singapore their regional base. Venture capital funding in Singapore surpassed $11 billion in 2022 alone, despite global slowdowns. And the government? It's actively supporting startups and tech unicorns with grants, tax incentives, and regulatory clarity. But that's not the only shift happening. Singapore has also emerged as a digital asset hub, quietly and methodically. While regulators in the US and Europe keep cracking down on crypto and Web3, Singapore has taken a different approach. Instead of banning innovation, it's creating a controlled environment where new financial technologies can flourish safely. That's why Binance, Crypto.com, and Ripple have all built significant operations there. The Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, their central bank and financial regulator, has become known for its innovation sandbox. It allows fintech and blockchain startups to test their technologies under light regulatory oversight before full launch, something the US still struggles to implement. Now, here's where it gets more interesting for long-term investors. Singapore isn't just attracting capital, it's capturing permanent relocation of wealth. We're seeing a rise in high-net-worth individuals, not only opening accounts or creating trust there, but actually moving their families, their companies, and their citizenships. Between 2020 and 2023, applications for permanent residency from wealthy individuals surged by more than 30%. The reasons? Asset protection, political neutrality, a world-class education system, and access to one of the most robust healthcare systems globally. When you add in the strong Singapore dollar, backed by huge reserves, low inflation, and disciplined monetary policy, it becomes clear that this isn't just a temporary trend. This is a structural shift. A new global elite is forming around this city-state, not just because of how Singapore protects wealth, but because of how it multiplies it. And there's one specific sector through which this growth is accelerating, and almost nobody is talking about it. That hidden sector is real estate, and not in the way you might think. While property prices in major cities like London, New York, and Hong Kong have faced stagnation or outright declines, Singapore's real estate market has remained remarkably resilient. Between 2017 and 2023, luxury property prices in Singapore rose over 28%. And despite tightening government regulations to cool speculation, demand keeps rising, especially from ultra-high net worth individuals relocating from China, India, Indonesia, and even the US. Why? Because owning real estate in Singapore isn't just a financial investment, it's a passport into the system. In many cases, purchasing high-value property can strengthen your residency application, open doors to business opportunities, and establish you within elite circles. Plus, Singapore has what other cities don't: a land-scarce, tightly managed property supply. Every square meter is precious, and the government controls development with long-term urban planning that balances sustainability and economic growth. That's why wealthy investors are snapping up condos in Orchard Road and Marina Bay. It's not about flipping for profit, it's about capital preservation and geopolitical insurance. But you don't need millions to benefit from this trend. Several REITs, real estate investment trusts, listed on the Singapore Exchange, SGX, offer exposure to this booming property market. Names like CapitaLand Integrated Commercial Trust or Mapletree Logistics Trust give you access to shopping malls, data centers, warehouses, and offices across Asia. These REITs offer attractive dividend yields, often in the 4% to 6% range, and are backed by hard assets in one of the most stable jurisdictions on Earth. Now, here's the final takeaway. Singapore isn't just another growth story. It's becoming a magnet for global wealth because it offers what the modern world lacks: certainty. In a time when inflation erodes savings, governments print endlessly, and political risks dominate headlines, Singapore represents clarity, safety, and smart capital allocation. Legendary investor Jim Rogers, who moved to Singapore in 2007, once said, "If you were smart in 1807, you moved to London. If you were smart in 1907, you moved to New York. And if you're smart in 2007, you moved to Asia." He chose Singapore, and he did it years before the crowd. Now the crowd is catching up. So if you're serious about understanding where capital is going next, not just for the next month, but for the next decade, keep your eyes on Singapore. Because the investors who act before the headlines are usually the ones who win. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more high-level investment insights, and drop a comment if you'd like us to cover other global safe haven strategies. The sooner you act, the sooner your money starts working smarter.